When Peroxide released in 2023, many Roblox Bleach fans believed it would be the game that finally dethroned Type Soul. It had deeper progression, more aces, more PvE content, and some of the most faithful Bleach transformations on the platform. But despite all the hype, Peroxide never became the king of Roblox Bleach. The early days, Peroxide exploded because it gave players something Bleach fans had wanted for years, a true RPG experience. You could become Soul Reaper, Hollow, Quincy, Fullbringer. Unlike many Bleach games, where progression was quick, Peroxide made players work for everything. Unlocking Shike, Bankei, Segunda, and other forms felt like major achievements. At first, this was a good thing. The grind was difficult enough to feel rewarding, but not so punishing that casual players immediately quit. The progression problem. As updates continued, progression became the game's biggest weakness. Bankei. To unlock Bankei, Soul Reapers had to reach level requirements, obtain enough progression, fight a clone of themselves that copied their entire build. Many players considered it one of the hardest fights in the game. Some spent hours fighting their Bankei before finally winning. Then came Mastery. For a long period, players had to repeatedly defeat their Bankei to fully master it. Community discussions from the era mention grinding numerous victories just to finish Mastery progression. Hollow progression. Hollow progression was even worse. A player would start as a weak Hollow and slowly evolve through multiple stages. The problem? Many veteran players actively hunted Hollows before they could reach Vasto Lord status. Players complained that other players camped progression spots. Higher level players intentionally stopped Hollows from evolving. The process felt more like surviving griefers than actually progressing. For some players, becoming a Vasto Lord could take days of grinding. The boss wall. One of the biggest complaints wasn't grinding itself. It was that every major progression ended with an extremely difficult boss. Examples included Bankei bosses, Segunda bosses, Volstorn Dig bosses, Horn of Salvation progression. Many players felt the bosses crossed the line from challenging into frustrating. Community discussions repeatedly cite progression bosses as a reason newer players quit before reaching endgame. The RNG problem. Even after surviving the grind, players often ran into another issue. Randomness. Many important abilities, accessories, and builds depended heavily on luck. Players complained about rare drops, low drop rates, rolling for powers, farming bosses repeatedly for a chance at the item they wanted. Instead of feeling rewarded for effort, many players felt they were gambling with their time. The update drought. Then came the problem that hurts almost every Roblox RPG. Lack of content. By 2025 and 2026, veteran players had multiple maximum accounts, endgame accessories, every race progression completed. Many community members felt there was simply nothing left to do besides PvP and repeating old content. Players began describing the game as a boss grinding simulator rather than a growing RPG. The community problem. Peroxide also developed a reputation for having a rough community. Complaints included random killing, progression camping, toxicity toward new players, gatekeeping difficult content. While not everyone had this experience, it became a common criticism in community discussions. If Peroxide was the strongest challenger to Type Soul, Hollow Era was the game that generated a huge amount of hype and then struggled to keep it. The hype. When Hollow Era started getting attention, players were excited because it promised Bleach-inspired combat, fast progression, transformations, PvP, less grinding than games like Peroxide. A lot of players were tired of spending dozens of hours grinding for forms and wanted something more accessible. The idea sounded perfect. What if Type Soul and Peroxide had a baby, but with less grind? For a short time, many YouTubers and TikTok creators pushed the game as the next big thing. The launch. At launch, player counts surged. Many players jumped over from Type Soul and Peroxide. People wanted to see if Hollow Era would finally become the new king of Roblox Bleach. Unfortunately, the excitement didn't last. Progression. One of Hollow Era's biggest strengths became one of its biggest weaknesses. Progression was extremely fast. At first this sounds great, but there was a downside. Many players reached endgame far quicker than expected. Instead of spending weeks building their character, some players were reaching major milestones in just days. This created a problem. Players finished the available content faster than the developers could add new content. Lack of endgame. This is where many Roblox anime games struggle. Getting players is hard. Keeping them is harder. Once players got their transformations, finished progression, and collected good gear, there wasn't enough endgame content to keep them engaged long term. Many players logged in, PvP'd for a while, then left. The gameplay loop became repetitive. The content gap. Type Soul succeeded because it constantly gave competitive players reasons to keep playing. Peroxide succeeded because progression itself took a long time. Hollow Era ended up in the middle. Progression wasn't long enough to keep grinders occupied. Endgame wasn't deep enough to keep PvP players occupied. The game struggled to find its identity. Competition crushed it. The biggest issue wasn't that Hollow Era was terrible. The biggest issue was that it launched into a market already dominated by established games. Players would often compare it to Type Soul and Peroxide, and every time players compared them, Hollow Era had to answer one question. Why should I leave my current game? For many players, there wasn't a convincing answer. Update issues. Like many Roblox anime projects, maintaining momentum became difficult. When updates slowed down, player counts dropped. When player counts dropped, fewer content creators covered the game. When fewer creators covered the game, even fewer new players arrived. This created a cycle that was difficult to reverse. Community reception. The community was split. Some players genuinely enjoyed simpler progression, easier access to transformations, casual gameplay. Others felt combat lacked depth. Progression was too short. The game didn't have enough unique features. The result was a player base that never became as loyal as the communities around Type Soul or Peroxide. Out of all the Roblox Bleach games that tried to challenge Type Soul, Paradox might be the most frustrating story. Not because it was terrible, not because it lacked hype, but because many players genuinely believed it had the potential to be the best Bleach game on Roblox. And then it spent years struggling to turn that potential into a finished experience. The hype before release. Before most players even got their hands on Paradox, it was already being called a future Type Soul killer. The reasons were simple. High quality visual effects, modern combat, unique skill animations, ambitious progression systems, and a more polished presentation than many competitors. Clips spread all over TikTok, YouTube, and Discord. People saw showcases and thought, this looks like what Roblox Bleach games should have been all along. The expectations became enormous, and that's where the problems started. The development cycle. Paradox became known for long periods of waiting. Players would hear about new systems, new races, new mechanics, and major updates, but many of those features took a long time to arrive. As months passed, excitement slowly turned into frustration. Every delayed feature gave players more time to return to games they were already playing. Most commonly, Type Soul and Peroxide. By the time Paradox was ready to show something new, many players had already settled back into those games. The potential problem. Paradox suffered from something that kills a lot of Roblox projects. Players loved the idea of the game more than the actual game. For years, discussion sounded like, just wait until the next update, or, the game will be amazing once everything is added. The issue is that players eventually stopped waiting. A game can survive bugs. A game can survive balance issues. A game usually cannot survive years of people saying, it'll be good later. Combat wasn't enough. One thing most players agreed on was that Paradox looked great. The animations and effects were often praised. The problem was that flashy combat alone doesn't keep players around. Players need progression goals, endgame activities, consistent updates, and reasons to log in every day. Type Soul had ranked PvP and faction competition. Peroxide had endless progression and boss grinding. Paradox struggled to create a gameplay loop that kept players invested for hundreds of hours. The community slowly left. The biggest killer wasn't one bad update. It was time. When players stopped believing a game is the future, they stopped checking for updates. Then, Discord activity drops. Content creators stop uploading. New players stop joining. Player counts decline. Eventually the hype machine disappears. And once hype disappears, a Roblox anime game has to survive purely on gamma play. Paradox had trouble doing that.